Tonight on Y News. The Department of Budget and Management remains confident that the proposed 2019 national budget will be passed before the end of the year. Losing bidder threatens to file disqualification case against third telco player Mislatel Consortium. And the first Philippine Eco Terminal Airport to formally open in Panglao, Bohol. Good evening. Budget Secretary Benjamin Diokno remains confident that the Congress will approve the proposed 2019 national budget this year. Diokno also emphasizes that it shouldn't be a practice in the government to have a reenacted budget. Let's find out why from Joannan.
The Department of Budget and Management, or DBM, is confident that before the end of the year, Congress will be able to pass the 3.757 trillion proposed national budget for next year. This despite delays in the passage of the proposed budget of the House of Representatives. That's why the Senate wasn't able to approve the overall budget for 2019. The Senate earlier said it might finish its deliberation on the measure by February 2019. Budget Secretary Benjamin Diokno argued, however, that the lawmakers must prioritize the passage of the proposed national budget by the end of 2018 instead of dilly-dallying or planning for their respective year-end vacations because the session is only until December 12.
We in the Executive Department have done our job. The President has done his job. He submitted the proposed 2019 budget ahead of schedule. The Constitution says within 30 days after the SONA. He submitted it on the day of the SONA. So the approval of the 2019 General Appropriations Act is now in Congress's court.
Secretary Diokno also emphasized that it shouldn't be a practice to have a reenacted budget because such would have a negative implication to the country's economy. He noted that the reenacted budget would primarily affect the administration's Build program.
It's a big contributor to growth. Okay? Can you imagine if there's no construction? So that will kind of slow down growth, right? And it will also slow down employment because no construction means no jobs means more poverty.
Diokno said he already explained such probabilities in his correspondence addressed to Executive Secretary Salvador Meljaldea, Presidential Spokesperson Salvador Panelo, and Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III. He explained that with limited budget, small-scale projects are the very first to suffer. Diokno noted, however, that a reenacted budget will not affect the funding for personal services sector, such as employee salary, pension, retirement benefits, and the likes. The Budget Secretary is confident that there will be no reenacted budget under the administration of President Rodrigo Duterte, unlike during the term of former President and now House Speaker Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, wherein the government had thrice a reenacted budget. Joannan, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Losing bidders Sear Telecom and PT&T want the government to disqualify Mislatel from being awarded as the country's third telco player. Senator Grace Poe, meanwhile, insists on conducting a thorough scrutiny on the background of companies comprising the Mislatel Consortium. Nel Maribohok tells us why.
PT&T and Sear Telecom have brought their complaints to the Senate against the country's winning third telco player, Mislatel Consortium. Sear Telecom's chairman and President Chavit Singson argues that Mislatel still has an existing contract with them, which bars Mislatel from entering into another deal. Sear Telecom, together with PT&T, wants the government to disqualify Mislatel from being awarded as the country's third telco.
So from the very beginning, Your Honor, disqualified na Mislatel dahil may kontrata po sabi ng Mislatel.
On the other hand, the Department of Information and Communications Technology says the process of awarding the contract to the winning bidder will continue unless the court issues its decision on the complaints of the losing bidder. However, still the agency admits that the legal battle will surely affect or delay the entry of the third telco. Nevertheless, DICT Undersecretary Eliseo Rio says they will still abide by the decision of the court.
Hypothetically, sir, we will just abide by the decision of the court.
On issues of security, Senator Grace Poe questioned National Security Advisor Secretary Hermogenes Esperon on the possible implication to national security of the reported hijacking incident of China Telecom on internet traffic that affects even powerful countries. The incident is up for investigation by the National Intelligence and Coordinating Agency.
Ito po'y parang hinijack po nila yung 15% ng web traffic.
We have heard about that report. It is subject to validation on our part. We have the 90 days period to do that. And the winning provisional NMP will have to undergo a background check by the National Intelligence and Coordinating.
The DICT maintains that they see no threat to national security with the entry of the Chinese telecom firm in the country.
So the threat of Chinese product, Chinese people really operating our telecommunication are already here.
For its part, Ms. Latel assured that the rights of the Filipino people will be protected.
We are a Filipino company, will not allow our national interest and our national security to be undermined.
But Po insists that a thorough scrutiny on the background of the third telco should still be conducted.
Pero iba rin siyempre, yung mismong korporasyon ang pagmamay-ari ay tiga-ibang bansa.
Meanwhile, Senator Antonio Trillanes IV requests the presence of Ms. Latel's owner, Dennis Uy, in the next inquiry. Uy was a no-show in today's Senate inquiry. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Meanwhile, the Metro Manila Development Authority has deferred the supposed opening today of the controversial footbridge in EDSA Scout Borromeo. The MMDA says this is because the bridge is still being checked to ensure that it is safe for pedestrian use. The footbridge, dubbed as Stairway to Heaven, recently stirred controversy because of its unusual height that goes over the Metro Rail Transit or MRT Line 3 near Kamuning Station, as netizens commented that the footbridge is inaccessible to pregnant women, the elderly, and persons with disabilities or PWDs. The MMDA recently said the footbridge will be redesigned to add railings and landings, but its height will not be changed, as this satisfies the MRT management's requirement for a 5-meter clearance from its power lines. The agency is eyeing to complete the structure's new design before the year ends. In other news, the province of Bohol eyes to double its tourist arrivals by 2020 with the opening of the country's first eco airport in Panglao. Here's why from Gladys Toabi.
The Philippines' newest and first eco airport is set to formally open for business today, despite delays that dogged its construction. President Rodrigo Duterte himself will lead the inauguration of the international airport situated in Panglao, Bohol. According to the Department of Transportation, the Panglao International Airport is the first airport in the country that uses renewable and sustainable structures. It features water treatment facilities and rain collection system, with the solar panels installed on the roof of the passenger terminal that can supply 30% of the airport's overall energy requirements. The airport's design was inspired by Bohol's famed tourist attractions, like the rolling waves of Panglao beaches and Chocolate Hills. The new international airport was erected in a 220-hectare site in Panglao Island and can accommodate up to 2 million passengers, double the number of passengers in Tagbilaran Airport. With the opening of the Green Airport, the province of Bohol eyes to double its tourist arrivals by 2020. Bohol also expects to further grow its local economy by inviting more investors to the province that will create more jobs for Boholanos. Meanwhile, beginning tonight at 6, the Tagbilaran Airport will be closed for operation, according to the notice to airmen issued by the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines. Flights bound for Bohol will also be transferred to the Panglao Airport starting Wednesday at 6 in the morning. Gladys Tuabi, UNTV News and Rescue, Bohol.
The battle of aspiring singers and renowned composers for Wishcovery Season 2, The Singer and the Song, has begun. Leslie Longboan tells us why.
Wishcovery Season 2, The Singer and the Song hit the Wish 1075 YouTube channel last night. For its debut episode, the Wishcoveries from Caraga region who made it to Camp Veni Saturno were revealed. They are Janten Adormeo, Trixie Cuadrado,
Kalakit ka na,
Princess Elisan,
surprising when love appears over the horizon.
Ana Marie Ginsisana,
Araw gabi na sa isipan,
Anthony Lapinig,
dininig ng langit ang aking paglalambing.
Teddy Magada,
Hindi ako mabubuo kung di kita kasama.
Angela Mejo,
Mundo ay punan mo ng saya at gawing makulay.
Matt Mondragon,
Lights on my world, I feel the warmth inside.
Cyrene Sabanal,
Ito rin ang dahilan kung ba't ako naglalakbay.
Vingel Tingkoy,
Nais mong makakita ng agila, huwag kang tumingal at tumitig sa langit.
Christopher Thio,
Kapag nariyan ka, ako'y sumisigla.
and Kay Vallejos.
Tumigil ang mundo nung ako'y duruma.
As their musical journey begins, composer and wish coverer Venny has a word for them.
The song will make or break you. Yung pag pumili ka ng kanta, dapat tama. Sa range mo, kaya mong gawin, kaya mong deliver. Kasi always nasabi ko, in any competition, yung kanta parang damit. Pag sinuot mo, dapat bagus.
Meanwhile, for later's episode, catch the Wishcoveries who made it to Camp Rani Raimundo. Wishcovery Season 2, The Singer and the Song, airs every night at 9:30 in the evening on Wish 1075 YouTube channel. Leslie Lomoan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Up next on Y News. Taiwan approves stricter measures to protect migrant workers' rights. Construction on world-class sports complex in Clark City, Capas, Tarlac now 35% complete. And a UNTV special report, Manila Police rolls off mobile library with teacher cops for street kids. Y News will be right back after this quick break. Welcome back to Y News. Here are the headlines. Former First Lady Imelda Marcos to elevate her Sandigan Bayan GRAFT case to the Supreme Court. The Bicameral Conference Committee approves the Universal Health Care Bill, which ensures that all Filipinos get adequate health care services. And the Bureau of Customs guarantees overseas Filipino workers anew that their balikbayan boxes will not be randomly opened during inspections. Taiwan's legislative branch has amended a law which seeks to impose stricter measures against companies and agencies employing migrant workers. Amiel Pascual tells us why.
Abusive employers will face up to 300,000 Taiwan dollar or 500,000 pesos fine under the newly amended Employment Service Act. Taiwan's Legislative Yuan approved the measure on third reading early November, which prohibits employers from keeping the migrant worker's passport or any identity document such as work permit without the consent of the person. Under the amended law, an employer or employment agency proven to have abused the rights of migrant workers in the country will be sanctioned. According to the Ministry of Labor, employers who are subject of complaints will be fined from 60,000 Taiwan dollar or 100,000 pesos up to 300,000 Taiwan dollar or 500,000 pesos.
Dito naman sa Taiwan, hindi naman ganun kataas yung kaso ng mga inaabuso ng mga kapwa natin OFW ng kanilang employer. Pero kung ganun na isa sa batas yung ganun, maganda po para na rin sa karapatan ng ating mga kapwa OFW po dito sa Taiwan.
Para na rin sa seguridad ng mga Filipino workers, mas maganda yun para sa kanila na may security sila, na just in case na may gagawin sa kanilang abuse, alam nila kung ano yung karapatan nila. At para dun sa awareness ng mga employer, hindi nila pwedeng ganun-ganun na abusuhin na lang yung karapatan ng mga Filipino workers.
Ganda po yun para yung mga employer hindi po gagawa ng mga pag-aabuso sa mga empleyado niya.
Meanwhile, for grave offenses such as sexual assault, human trafficking, physical abuse, and homicide that have been reported within 24 hours from the time of incident, will incur the suspect a fine of 300,000 Taiwan dollar to 1.5 million Taiwan dollars or 2 million pesos. Apart from the high price of monetary penalty, brokers or agencies in question will also face revocation of permit to operate. The said measures are in line with the government's efforts to protect the rights of migrant workers, whose roles have been vital in Taiwan's economy. Based on records of Taiwan's Ministry of Labor, there are around 700,000 migrant workers in Taiwan as of 2018, with most numbers working in the manufacturing sector. Amiel Pascual, UNTV News and Rescue, Taiwan.
Meanwhile, the Bureau of Customs assures overseas Filipino workers that their balikbayan boxes will be safe and secured, especially during this holiday season. JL Asayo tells us why.
The Bureau of Customs guarantees it is strictly implementing the Memorandum Order 18-2018, which prohibits the random opening of balikbayan boxes. Instead, the boxes sent by the overseas Filipino workers to their families in the country will undergo X-ray and canine examination and will only be opened if suspicious items are detected. Under the memorandum implemented in 2016, all district collectors and other concerned customs officials and personnel are ordered to subject to 100% physical examination the alerted balikbayan boxes only in the presence of the consignees or his duly authorized representative. If the consignee or representative cannot personally attend the inspection, a waiver from the owner of the shipment should be submitted.
And if there is anything that is irregular in that particular shipment, then that will cause the further examination of these boxes. And it is done in the presence of the representative of the recipient or the recipient himself.
The BOC advises balikbayan box senders that their shipment must only contain personal and household effects. Balikbayan boxes may be sent up to 3 times in a year, provided the total value per sender will not exceed 150,000 pesos and the items or goods sent are not in commercial quantities.
What you can send are personal effects, which are commodities, whether new or used, for personal use or consumption and not for commercial purposes. So hindi pwede na ito ay for business na purpose, no, na ibebenta or pang-inventory ng ating mga tindahan.
Freight forwarders and the consolidators are also required to ensure that only personal effects and household goods are sent through consolidated shipment of balikbayan boxes. According to BOC spokesperson Attorney Dino Austria, since the no opening of balikbayan boxes policy was implemented, there were no more reports on stolen items from boxes. The agency also advises balikbayan box senders to exercise caution when transacting with freight forwarders and to contact their Public Information and Assistance Division at 02-299-7977 or 0929-503-5138 for inquiry and aid purposes. JL Asayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Establishments accepting cashless payments are increasing proof that Filipinos are ready to shift to cashless transactions. Mon Ocson will tell us why in this special report.
6 out of 10 Filipinos are using cashless payments on their transactions, based on the Visa 2017 Consumer Payment Attitude Survey. From 46% in 2015, it increased to 54% in 2017. Is this a proof that the Philippines is going to cashless transactions? Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas said that this is a good sign because it is making the lives of more Filipinos easy. In fact, the BSP plans to increase cashless-based transaction in the Philippines from 1% this year to 20% in 2020. But the BSP does not believe that the whole country will immediately adopt a cashless-based payment system, but the agency is working to expand it.
So now that we are putting in place yung regulations at saka yung tinatawag nating National Retail Payment System na para magpadala ng any amount of any account to any account, mas dadami tong kasi matatanggap na siya sa mga stores, yung mga ating bayarin, mga billers, ganyan, madali na from our account.
Based on the International Data Corporation, cashless transaction made by Filipinos reached more than $700 million this year. And it is expected that this will increase to $1.7 billion in 2021. Many products today can be bought online. All of this are using cashless transaction. The Beep Card Company also plans to expand their operation from cards used in LRT and MRT to many establishments.
Pinapakita lang na basta masanay yung mga tao at nakita nilang gumagana naman at mapagkakatiwalaan naman yung sistema. Patuloy yung paggamit nila.
All of these modern jeepneys are installed with card readers for their transition to go cashless. But some drivers are worried that they will lose profit because many might not pay because of the cashless-based system.
Hindi makakatulong sa amin yung beep card sa mga ganitong kwan.
So mahirap pa pag wala
saktong ruta? Opo. Kung point to point, may eksakto kami ruta, kaya lang may mga pick up kami kasi dito sa mga area na hindi galing sa mismong terminal. Ibig sabihin, kanto-kanto.
But some consumer group warned the public to be careful transacting online, especially when using credit card. Consumers must assure that the online shop has a secured payment facility and must have an online shopping protection or insurance. Don't use credit card when shopping online that has a large credit limit.
Kung credit card ang ginamit mo, meron kang statement of account, tignan mo baka may makapasok yung tinatawag dyan na compromised amount. I-report mo agad.
Many companies offering cashless-based transaction are expected to enter the Philippine market next year. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
The Congressional Bicameral Conference Committee finally approves a reconciled version of the Universal Health Care Bill after 2 hearings. Under the bill, all Filipinos will be able to avail of government's health services. Active PhilHealth members will also get special package benefits. Senator J.B. Ejercito says that if the bill is signed into law, the funding for it will be guaranteed in the current budget, at least in the first 2 years. 257 billion pesos for the first year and 280 billion for the following year. For the succeeding years, Congress will need to approve additional taxes for tobacco to meet the necessary funds under the Universal Health Care Law. Ejercito hopes the Senate and the House could ratify the bill so it can be transmitted immediately to Malacanang for review and President Rodrigo Duterte's signature.
It has been agreed upon that there will be a special package or incentive for the regular contributories for them to continue.
Meanwhile, former First Lady and now Ilocos Norte Representative Imelda Marcos wants to elevate her GRAFT case from the Sandigan Bayan to the Supreme Court. In a notice of appeal that her lawyer filed before the Sandigan Bayan's 5th Division, Marcos has requested that her case records be submitted to the Supreme Court, where she plans to question her conviction. Marcos's move comes after the anti-graft court on November 9 convicted her for 7 graft cases and sentenced of up to 11 years of imprisonment for each case in connection with creating and maintaining Swiss bank accounts during the Marcos regime. She was granted temporary bail in the amount of 150,000 pesos while the anti-graft court deliberates on whether they will grant the motion of Marcos to be allowed to file post-conviction remedies. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, reminds candidates for the 2019 midterm elections of the deadline for filing for substitution, which is until Thursday, November 29. Candidates who wish to withdraw their candidacy, those who met an early death or have been disqualified may opt to be substituted. The process is in order for the poll body to finalize the list of names in the ballots before printing. Meanwhile, substitution may only be allowed until midday of the election day, only if the substitute candidate is of the same surname as the original person. And almost 5,000 drug suspects were killed in the illegal drugs campaign from July to October. According to the data of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, almost 9,000 barangays are now cleared of drugs. Kathy Maglalang tells us why.
The illegal drug campaign is still ongoing under the Duterte administration. According to the data of PDEA and the PNP, more than 113,000 anti-drug operations were conducted from July 1, 2016 to October 31, 2018. Over 161,000 drug personalities were arrested and almost 5,000 were neutralized in these operations. Almost 9,000 barangays in the country are cleared from drugs, but more than 23,000 barangays are filled with prohibited drugs.
Some barangay officials are not contributing in our campaign against illegal drugs. It's their job to take part in this campaign.
The challenge would be that for the drug-cleared barangays, they should maintain their drug-cleared status and there will not be any resurgence of any illegal drug activity.
At least 600 government officials and employees were also arrested in anti-drug operations from July 2016. 257 of these are elected officials in the local government, 278 are government employees, and 65 are uniformed personnel. At least 25.06 billion pesos worth of shabu and laboratory equipment were also seized. Meanwhile, almost 2,000 youth aged 9 to 17 years old were rescued in the illegal drug activities, while 292,000 drug users have graduated from the rehabilitation programs. Kathy Maglalang, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Cops in Manila have taken turns gathering street children along Rojas Boulevard not to arrest them but to give them books to read. Leah Islagan tells us why.
Street children are prone to street crimes and their vulnerability are being corrupted at an early age if without proper guidance. They spend most of their time loitering in parks or along the roads begging for alms. 19-year-old Lara recalled how she became accustomed to doing things which she shouldn't have been doing at a young age. Due to lack of proper guidance, they just did what they thought was good, but was in fact doing things that are against the law.
Nagnanakaw po, nagsasolvent, tapos mga hablot pag hindi kami binigyan. Dahil po sa mga guro namin polis, nagbago po kami.
That's why personnel from Manila Police District launched the Mobile Library Project, dubbed as Police Na Teacher Pa program, to help street children and out-of-school youth like Clara to learn basic academic lessons, good manners, and right conduct, as well as personal hygiene. The mobile library regularly parks along Rojas Boulevard every Wednesdays and Fridays. It is equipped with a wide variety of books collected from private donations. It has audiovisual aids which are effective tools to catch the interest of children.
So magiging subject for today namin ngayon is yung papakita ng volunteer teacher namin kung sino yung mga bayani natin, basic, and then yung tungkol sa parts of the body, and then yung mga kinds of job na gusto nilang marating balang araw.
This gesture by policemen is very much appreciated by the parents of street children in the area because they see how their children learn good things and moral values through the project.
Malaking tulong po kasi nakakalimutan nila yung mga bisyo nila kasi kadalasan kasi dito yung mga batang hindi na ganito, nagbibisyo sila hawa-hawa. Katulad ng pagsasolving, nagpupuyat sa gabi. Hindi katulad ngayon, maaga pa lang, naghihintay na sila.
According to the proponent of the project, District Mobile Force Battalion Chief, Police Superintendent Rex Arvin Malimban, their mobile library has just debuted on October 24, and he wishes it to be part of a regular program of the Philippine National Police in order to save the street children from becoming liabilities in the society.
Ugat po ito dun sa mga issue ng mga kabataan na nagba-viral, umakit sa jeep, nang-i-snatch. Pag po ito ay nakukuha natin ng mga kabataan, nakita natin majority are minors. So, siyempre po, sinusurrender natin po yan sa, sa DSWD. Then after ilang days, minsan po within a day, yan po ibabalik po sa pamilya nila o sa barangay nila. So paulit-ulit nung minsan nagiging process. So nag-isip kami ng paraan kung paano kami makakapag-interact talaga sa kanila.
The PNP leadership meanwhile is in support of the project. In fact, PNP Chief Police Director General Oscar Albayalde is keen on launching mobile libraries and teacher camps in different parts of the country.
Pwedeng gayahin ng iba yan. It's one good practice na ito nga makatulong tayo dun sa mga bata na nandyan sa mga streets lang at wala silang kakayahan or their parents hindi nila kayang papuntahin or i-enroll sa mga schools. No? At least kahit paano nakakatulong tayo sa ating mga kabataan. Kung pwede nating magawa yan dun sa Mindanao, gagawin natin.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Manila.
The Bases Conversion and Development Authority vows to complete next year the construction of a world-class sports complex in Capas, Tarlac. Victor Cosare tells us why.
The much-awaited 50-hectare Clark City Sports Complex being constructed in Capas, Tarlac is now 35% complete according to the Bases Conversion and Development Authority. It is expected to be one of the venues for the 2019 Southeast Asian Games and the ASEAN Games in 2020. The world-class sports facility will house an athletic stadium, an aquatic center, an athletes village, and a national sports training center. The design of the athletic stadium is inspired by Mount Pinatubo and is also fittingly made of lahar and volcanic debris. The aquatic center's design consists of a huge open shed with a prismatic roof that gives off a pearlescent glow to make it look like Capiz windows during the day and a lit parole at night. Celebrated Filipino athletes recently visited the site. Retired sprint queen Lydia de Vega Mercado was delighted that after all these years, the country can now boast of a world-class sports facility.
At least ngayon, ito na yung mga pinapangarap ng mga atleta na magkaroon ng mga bagong facilities para sa kanila, para magamit nila sa pag-iensayo and para din doon sa mga gustong maging katulad namin. Meron na tayo na world-class facilities nga ang tawag, di ba?
Multiple gold medalist swimmer Eric Buhain is hoping that the sports complex will help motivate future Filipino athletes.
I would really hope that after the SEA Games, during the SEA Games, the kids would watch, and then after the SEA Games, they'd open the facilities for training so that the kids naman can swim in a world-class swimming facility.
The new breed of Filipino athletes promise to do their best at the upcoming SEA Games so that the precious funds used in building the complex will not be put to waste.
It's very exciting for us to represent the country for this coming 2019 SEA Games, and makakaasa po kayo, lahat po din po ng pinaghirapan nyo, gagawin po namin ng lahat para makapag-produce at makapag-perform ng maayos.
This new complex was a bedtime story for us. It was a fairy tale. We never believed it was actually real. So now that we're actually seeing it, we're very excited. I believe I speak for all the athletes here that we're very excited and we're very inspired to train harder than ever.
The construction's project engineer, Patrick Nicolas David, says they can finish the facilities by October 2019 or before the opening of the SEA Games next year.
Construction started officially in March 14, so we are technically about 8 months into the construction period. So this is what a good planning, a good team can do in 8 months. And we will finish this with the commissioning test games by August and deliver fully to the government with all the certification in October, a few months before our SEA Games.
Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Up next on Y News. General Motors Company cutting thousands of jobs across America. Locally made robots wait tables at Kathmandu restaurant in Nepal.
Touchdown confirmed.
And NASA celebrates InSight's landing on Mars for an unprecedented seismic mission. Y News will be right back shortly.